Yeah, I was really reading these stories and just trying to piece it together. Look at this. There's just headstones lying here like this. Just with pipes, bricks, another overturned headstone. It's a mess. What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? Here I am in Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm on 17th Street and I'm approaching Oak Grove Cemetery. This cemetery has such an interesting history, and it's not really a cemetery anymore, sort of. So I was just talking to a gentleman that works at that building right there, and he was telling me he didn't even know it was a cemetery. There's a huge sign right here. I'm going to read it to you and tell you a little bit more about what I know about that. So it says here, Oak Grove Cemetery, established 1870. In 1870, the city purchased 3.25 acres for a burial ground. In 1882, Oak Grove Cemetery expanded into 6.39 acres. It became a private cemetery for those unable to afford burial. Sadly, plot records and maps of burial locations did not survive. Death certificates found that at least 6,000 people were buried here from 1872 to 1932. Other researchers found another 4,000 people were interred after 1932. Okay, but that's not all really with this story. Let's try to walk through here. I want to see if there's any headstones left here. I wasn't expecting a trail, like a cement trail. I was expecting to be all wooded and grown over. There's something, looks like a headstone. Okay, there's a back fence right there. I don't know if you see it. Right there in the middle. So it looks like there's something over there too as well. Okay, so we're going to be going to another cemetery that has a connection to this one for a very important reason. Let me give you the history of what I know. See, I think these are some just old headstones. This is wild because there are a lot of people here. A lot. So this is the city cemetery, Oak Grove Cemetery. In 1882, ownership of this cemetery was transferred to New Hanover County. They renamed it Oak Grove because of the live oaks that are on the east side. So if I'm looking north right now, the live oaks should be over there. A year later, they added a small lodge. I don't think that's here on the property anymore. By 1891, there were 2,000 graves here. Okay. Now, it said on that sign that it catered to the underprivileged. That's true, but it was more than just that. It was divided into 3 sections. There's a section, the largest one was for black burials. Then there was one that was reserved for white burials. And the third was a potter's field. So those not laid to rest with the poor, the indigent, they were buried with their loved ones, and others received subsidized plots. There were not very many tombstones at the time. People were just kind of buried here. And that was the fact that a lot of the people were poor. But they decorated the graves, family members, with seashells, dolls, old beds even, I read. About 9 years before its 100th anniversary, the city voted to extend 16th and 17th Street and cut right through the cemetery. So the county decided to move this cemetery over to a new site at Flemington. That's where we're going to try to go to. So there are more than 10,000 grave sites apparently here. As you can see, very, very few, if any, markings. And I know right now I'm probably walking on more than, well, a lot. Now the few headstones that were here, they were kind of just thrown onto trucks and dumped at Flemington, the other cemetery we're going to go to. Then they're just laid out in lines, breaking up family groups. So one historian says that the headstones were indeed moved, but the bodies were not. So all that they did was move headstones from here that were here and left behind the bodies. Now, the cemetery has pretty much been destroyed, and the county denied bodies remained behind here. But finally, I think it was 2018, they admitted, took responsibility, and voted to protect the cemetery here. So I don't know. I was told that it was a very dangerous area too, and so far it doesn't seem too dangerous at all here. But I think I do see one headstone way back there. Oh no, it looks like a tree stump. Well, the headstones that were here are at Flemington, where we're going to go. When I read about this cemetery, I gotta tell you, I don't know if I've explained it even correctly, because I had to send. I read about 3 or 4 different articles, and I had to send a couple of them to someone to read for me. Like, to actually, I was like, am I reading this right? Is this what really happened here, and in what order, and what am I going to find? And they were just as confused as I was. But that road out there cuts through the cemetery, and they decided to move the cemetery and, quote unquote, give the people who are buried here a proper burial with the headstones. But the coroner reports they just dug up the headstones, threw them on a truck, took them across town, across the river. Just horrible, leaving behind so many bodies. There's not much here. I'm walking through a cemetery with no headstones. Looks like it stretches far down there. I thought I was going to find a few headstones left here. Doesn't look like it. As I walk around and around and around, I definitely am not finding any. Walked a little deeper into the woods over here, and nope, nothing. Everything I think is a headstone turns out to be a tree stump. Another one there, one there. So yeah, there are. How many people? Oh, there is one there. That's a headstone there. Okay, finally. Well, that is crazy. One headstone? What? Here we go. Okay. So, like 10,000 people roughly. This is J.A. Stewart, born September 12th, 1872, died October 25th, 1946, gone but not forgotten. And some people have brought flowers out, and they're marking where the grave is. And also, I'm starting to notice that some other markings, and on trees as well, there's paint. So it looks like they're doing, can you see that? Sorry, you can't. There you go, there. Straight ahead on that tree. See some more. Oh, do I see another headstone down there? Or is that, no, it's a tree stump. I think there's one headstone in this entire cemetery. Wait, we got something. We have something. Wow. You see that blue building back there? That's where the cemetery ends. I'm not finding much. I saw something over here, and I want to take a look, but I have a feeling it's just an old pizza box or garbage. We'll take a look. Is there anything else around here? When I walk through cemeteries, as anybody who visits, yes, it's an old box and stuff. When you walk through cemeteries, you try to walk down the rows. You try not to stomp across graves, of course, and it sounds like I am right now, but I'm walking on heavy leaves. So you try to be respectful, but when you visit cemeteries, you have to walk across some graves to get to other ones. That's just the way it is in lots of cemeteries. And like I just visited my parents the other day, and to get to the, oh, there's one right here. There's one right there. It's an old headstone right here. Yep. Can't read it. Can't see what it says, but there's an old one right there. I was saying I visited my parents just the other day, and sat. We sit on the grave. A lot of people do that. Sit and remember the person you're visiting, or people. So no disrespect to anybody that I stepped across here, because there are a lot of people here. And now we're gonna go across the river to where those headstones were moved to and see what that cemetery looks like and what's going on there. That was about a 15-minute drive across the river. You can see behind me, that's the road I was just driving down. And it is a dead-end road that ends with, and it says no dumping, but people aren't really adhering to that. This is a lonely little parcel of land out here. I heard it was a dirt road, but it's cement. But here we are at Flemington Cemetery. And no burials apparently have taken place here since 1992. So this is it. I don't know exactly what. There's a lack of dignity for the people that are here. I don't know if I'm not allowed to go in here or not. I'm going to just walk over. It seems to be open on some side. So it's only a few hundred tombstones that were taken from Oak Grove here. There's a sign here. It doesn't say much. Flemington Oak Grove Cemetery, property of New Hanover. So these headstones, a lot of them were just laid out in rows. Somebody witnessed the transfer of the headstones. They said about a couple of hundred were taken from Oak Grove, dumped in a heap, probably there. And then a few days, well, or however long later they came, and they were just laid out in rows and nothing. Families split up. No body. There was no evidence that the ground at Oak Grove had been dug up or disturbed in any way. So, well, there's two together, Patsy Moore and Amos Moore, the Fur family. I mean, maybe they kept some sort of record, but in the article I read said that they just kind of brought people here. Sorry, brought the headstones. I keep thinking that. Brought headstones here, laid them out in rows. And who knows if anybody's even buried here. But they did have, I mean, from the Oak Grove Cemetery, there are a few. This is not a big cemetery at all. You can see. That's it. Very confusing story. There's somebody back here. Theodore Ted Boyd, 1990. Right there, Ted. There's a few scattered little graves here. What is this? Well, there's this bench too. 1989. Jacqueline. Right here. People have brought some rocks out here. And wow. So yeah, here we go. 1987. So these are some burials here. And I read that there's no flowers or anything in this abandoned. Because this cemetery is somewhat abandoned too. I mean, it's not, people aren't coming here. There's no burials here now. And from the looks of it, nobody's taking care of it. But there are some flowers right there. So I'm guessing the rows of headstones that were taken from Oak Grove would be these ones placed in the rows, and newer burials here. So right now, what am I walking on when it's, not to be morbid, I don't mean it in that way, like, are these just markers put up? But their bodies are back across in that other cemetery, across the river. Whether you had the money back then or whether you're poor, you deserve to be buried with dignity, and your remains deserve to be treated with dignity. And whether or not you paid to be with your family, if you got to be buried with your family in a family plot, you should be together forever. This is from 1924, 1915. Let's see what we got over here. $1960. Here's the Johnsons. But I don't know. They could have just been, all had the last name and been the people that planted these headstones because thought, well, maybe they're related. But who knows if they are. I don't think there's anybody buried here. Wow. Fanny Brown, age 80. 1863 to 1936. Nora Jones. Wow. Huh. E. Dunk Brown, Mary Shepherd. Oh boy, there's one with a lamb on it. You know what that means. A tender mother and faithful friend, Mary Mintz. Huh. Usually a lamb is where the children are, but I'm not sure. All is dark within our dwelling. Lonely are our hearts today, for the one we love so dearly has forever passed away. "11 years old, little Robert Branch." See, it's got a dog or a lamb on it. Asleep in Jesus. Man. was really reading these stories and just trying to piece it together. Look at this. There's just headstones lying here like this. Just with pipes, bricks. Another overturned headstone. It's a mess. I mentioned before about seashells marking the grave. That's an African American tradition. I didn't know that. To leave seashells at the grave. Or to mark the grave, I should say. Sarah Barnes, Ellerby Barnes, 1940. And they got the little markers right there. So that adds up. They're there. This, I'm not sure what's happening here. Can't even read it. Can't read any of these. Look at that. Wow. And I'm not sure what's happening in this separate little section right here. Yeah, Richardson, Jackson, Kahn, Hill, Robinson, Barrett. I mean, cemeteries, they have strangers buried beside each other all the time, of course. But the story behind this, that they just brought the headstones and lined them up and left the bodies behind. Come on. Let's see what's in here. Really, just 1918, 1989 beside it, right beside it. Like, look at that. If you can see, the sun's so bright. From the funeral home, Jordan Funeral Home in Wilmington. Somebody, I think the last name is Cleveland, 1989. And then you got Reeves, 1918, died in World War I. And Blaker, I can't read that last name. Wow. Another broken one. Just laying here. Just laying here. Rest in peace. I didn't bring a rock. I just flew in. I collect rocks on the way when and here's another 1 year. Here's a lamb there. 1 year old little Margaret Moore. Because I started collecting that because I don't fly with a bunch of rocks, obviously. And I knew this was the cemetery I was coming to, and I wasn't sure what if I could leave a rock at a random grave, but it just wasn't. It's like I wasn't sure what to expect, and something sad like that. But rest in peace to everybody here, especially little Margaret. Maybe I'll cut back here one day. Bring a rock for Margaret. Ooh, North Carolina, in the middle of April, it's starting to heat up. It's about 9 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Rest in peace to everybody that is here. However many there are here, I'm not sure. And rest in peace to everybody at Oak Grove. Yeah. Thousands of bodies behind at Oak Grove. And I'm not sure how many are here. Thanks for watching, everybody. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, little Margaret. Maggie, maybe. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Just as I was leaving. Man, to find one.